Scotland and BBC One HD, a battle for pole position in the season's final Formula One qualifying session.
Good afternoon and welcome to the most important qualifying session of the 2010 Formula One season. And when you reach the crux of what is probably the greatest ever championship battle, it's very easy to get nervous, a bit overawed, allow your emotions to run away with you. So we decided this weekend we should just ease you in nicely to the racing. Nothing too over the top.
24 set out to win. Now, just 4 remain. But only one can win the championship.
What a championship season. What a finishing prospect.
Last weekend, the competition was ferocious.
Settles to the first corner first. Just what he wanted.
Hamilton makes a crucial error.
And we said goodbye to Button.
We're just not quick enough at the moment.
Now, the battle is on. This weekend, fighting for the championship, Fernando Alonso.
Anything can happen.
Avanti, Avanti!
Mark Webber.
There's a massive difference between world champion and second.
Sebastian Vettel.
Yes, baby! Yes!
I learned so far that there are no guarantees in life.
And Lewis Hamilton.
I've been preparing myself my whole life for these kind of situations.
Who will take the honours? It's time to start the engines.
All that, and Eddie Jordan is still the biggest draw in the pit lane. Everybody wanting a photo with him. Thank you all very much for your efforts. These fantastic marshals have come over from the UK to work here this weekend. So, guys, enjoy it. You're going to be part of something very special indeed. Have they got their photograph now, Eddie? Are they happy?
I think they're all ready to go. They've had a great day and they've done a remarkable job. The safety here is beyond anyone's belief. It's fantastic.
Well, it looks like they're happy to stay, so they'll just stand here while we have a conversation about this weekend. And David, getting serious for a moment. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later. It's hard to not overestimate how special this weekend could be, isn't it?
Well, this is a fantastic weekend because you've got two guys who've won world championships, 2 guys who haven't won world championships, all in the hunt. For Lewis Hamilton, it's a bit more complicated. He needs to win this race. For the others, there's all sorts of permutations that we'll go through, but 4 drivers who can walk away here on Sunday as the world champion. And
Eddie, plenty of twists and turns already this season. Are you expecting one more from this weekend, do you think?
I don't see why not. We've been absolutely... You know, the amount of excitement that's been dished up to us has been remarkable, and I still see that there's more to come. OK, well, as dusk slowly approaches here in the desert, we're 4 hours ahead of UK time here. It really is a very special setting for the last race weekend of what has so far been a stupefying season. And 7 days and 7,000 miles since the intrigue in Interlagos. It's time for action in the United Arab Emirates. Only 3 years ago, there wasn't electricity, roads, even water on Yas Island, just a few miles from Abu Dhabi city. And in 2008, the development started. In 2009, they welcomed the world for the last season's end-of-year dead rubber. But after several $1 billion that has transformed the desert, they finally get the race they want, the Formula One World Decider. And we've gone full circle now, having started the year just 250 miles away in Bahrain. It's the 19th race weekend of the season, and last time out, it was all about Red Bull.
Away we go. Hockenberg's cleared, but look at the start by Vettel. Vettel dropping into the lead. Alonso's buzzing, and Vettel's to the first corner first. Through goes Webber down to second place. And here comes Alonso challenging Lewis Hamilton.
And he's gone wide. Hamilton makes a crucial error.
Oh, look, there's Liuzzi.
Down in turn 2, it's in a very difficult position. Safety car deployed.
Buemi and Massa coming together there as Jenson Button was pressurising.
Now 16 seconds covers the top 5. The 5 men have been in the championship hunt all year.
Jenson Button in 5th place.
Jenson drops out of the title hunt.
Sebastian Vettel wins. And Mark Webber comes through very much in the hunt and confirms that Red Bull, they are the Constructors' Champions for the first time. 4 drivers still in with a shout of the Drivers' Championship.
Well, congratulations to Red Bull, the 2010 Formula One Constructors' Champions, but now it's all about the Drivers' Championship. And David, looking at the standings at the moment, it was a 1-2 finish for Red Bull a week ago. 1-2 would do them just nicely this weekend, as long as it's in the right order.
Well, that's the big difficulty they have, because if Fernando Alonso is perched there in 3rd place, then he will pick up this championship unless Mark Webber's picking up the win. So it's quite a complex situation within the team, because you have 2 drivers that would like to win this championship, but there's a set of circumstances that will mean that only Fernando would if he was still running.
And while we start focusing on Red Bull and wondering whether they can take it all the way and do the double this season, Eddie, we shouldn't lose sight of Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton, both of whom were looking quick in the practice sessions, particularly McLaren. They seem to have found something special in that car.
Well, they have, and the last couple of races have been poor for them because of the grip, and they lost the grip in the tyres, and once you don't have that, you lose.
OK, well, we're outside Ferrari here at the moment, and if we take a look at the Constructors' Championship, you can see the aim for Ferrari this weekend. Well, they're desperate to catch McLaren for 2nd place. They currently sit 23 points behind them. This weekend, of course, also represents the last chance for the new teams to score a championship point. However, 11 of the 12 teams in Formula One are fighting for just one thing really now, pride, because one team have picked up 8 wins, one team are the Constructors' Champions.
We will get them, don't you worry.
Even gave up believing and praying. Great, it feels like a long time coming.
Mark Webber, you have won the Monaco Grand Prix. Brilliant drive.
One day I had a dream, I tried to chase it, but I wasn't going nowhere. Running mad, I knew that maybe someday I would understand. Trying to change a 10 to 100 grand. Everyone's a kid that no one cares about.
Not bad for another 2 driver. Cheers.
Do you think your manager smiled now?
You just gotta keep screaming till they hear you out.
Early building years, yes, there were some ups and downs, but we never lost sight of what the objective was. Working at Red Bull is a way of life, it's not just a job.
Thank you, boys! Thank you! The car is fantastic. Yes, thank you. Oh, yes. You guys deserve every bit of this. Woo! I know you didn't get a lot of sleep, but you might not get a lot of sleep tonight.
And in just over half an hour's time, they'll be heading out for qualifying today, looking for another perfect weekend. And we know what that sound means. It means the engine is about to roar up. So the best thing we can do is walk out of the garage at that point. Eddie, you've owned a team, you've run a team. Tell us how important the Constructors' Championship is for these teams, because we normally talk about the drivers, don't we?
Well, it's a natural thing that the people who are watching the Grand Prix, they follow the Drivers' Championship. But internally, inside it, it's a kind of a confusion because the team owners all want to beat each other's team. That's their mechanism, and that's what they get off on. And so there's a conflict here, but seriously, I think the vast majority of people just like the Drivers' Championship.
And that engine's been roaring away for them all season. How much of an achievement is it in Formula One to start the season the fastest, and whilst everyone develops their cars, to end it the fastest as well?
Well, if you contrast it with last year, Brawn definitely started as the fastest team, but come midpoint of the year, they've been outdeveloped and they really struggled. Red Bull, on the other hand, have managed to keep the pace going, and they've been chased very closely by Ferrari and McLaren.
And they're going to be chased very closely again this weekend. Red Bull may have already picked up one of the titles, but one of them is still up for grabs, and McLaren and Ferrari are not giving this team any rest at all.
Championship leader Fernando Alonso arrived at Abu Dhabi's desert circuit looking cool, calm and collected. That was until he was made to ride on the 150-mile-an-hour roller coaster at Ferrari's new theme park. Once he caught his breath, Alonso described what he needs to do in order to finish first or second, the only positions that would guarantee him the title.
Perfect quali lap, perfect start on Sunday, perfect race pace, perfect pit stop. This is not easy. Even if we try to do every weekend this, there is always the lap in Q3 was not ideal. The start we miss a little bit performance with someone. The pit stop we lost half a second. There is never, or it's very difficult to have everything perfect in a weekend. This weekend is time to do it.
Alonso's challenged for the championship at the last race of the year 4 times in the last 6 seasons, so he's well used to it. But this is a new experience for both Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. The Australian has lacked outright pace here in practice and isn't getting carried away with the euphoria of Red Bull winning the Constructors' title.
We have that, and that's our first one, so they don't hand them out that easy, and sensational achievement.
But it was only half the job as far as you're concerned.
I'd say even less than half the job for me, but I mean, yeah, some people say it's 50-50, but you know, probably the ratio is a bit more. I mean, the championship that everyone remembers obviously is the drivers, we know that, and that's the important one this weekend.
Sebastian Vettel's the man on form, but short on points. If it does get to the end of the race and Vettel can't win but teammate Mark Webber can, Red Bull expects Sebastian to move over for Mark Webber to enable him to take the victory and the championship. But Vettel's hoping to win it for himself.
I'm driving for the team. We both, secured Constructors' Championship for the team last weekend, so that's step number 1. Step number 2 is obviously the Drivers' Championship. I believe in myself, so whatever happens, obviously, I think the message from the team is clear, so, depends on Mark or myself individually in that situation.
A lot of people talking about whether Sebastian is going to let you through on the last lap, but does that kind of miss the point? If you're going to be champion, do you have to go out and get this yourself?
Well, that's right. People keep talking about swapping positions, but what if I'm leading? I can't let no, So, yeah.
That leaves Lewis Hamilton. His title chances depend on him winning the race and Fernando Alonso and the Red Bulls running into major problems. It's a long shot, but Hamilton's been quick in practice here, and he's promising to drive the wheels off the McLaren.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do everything I can. I might be the most aggressive I've been all year this weekend to take the places that I need to. Last weekend I was particularly cautious, especially at the beginning of the race. Lost the place to Fernando. That will not happen this weekend. I'll be at my best this weekend, and that's all I can do.
And he has been at times this weekend. McLaren have certainly had their noses in front, but they need more than just a fast car. They need some favours from their rivals. Lewis clearly fired up, and his team clearly very busy this close to qualifying.
Yeah, the reason we're seeing all this activity behind us, there's about 15 guys around Lewis's car, which if you contrast that to the activity on the other side of the garage with Jensen, they tried some different setups in the morning, and clearly with the benefit of hindsight it hasn't worked, so they are now desperately trying to get that back together in time for qualifying.
It's amazing actually seeing such a busy garage behind us, and then just where Jensen Button's car is, you can see hardly anybody working around there, nice and calm. Talking of being calm, Mark Webber doesn't seem to like to work in a calm environment. Once again, he said there when Ted said you've won half the battle, he said it's less than half. He almost seems to need to fire himself up and have something to fight for, doesn't he?
Well, actually, that's accurate. In his mind, he's there. When he was born, he thought that he was going to be the best, and each and every year and every morning he's woken up, he's had to tell himself he's going to be the best. So this is no surprise what he's just said. He has to keep pushing himself, and that's his mechanism.
You've driven alongside him. How much did he like to battle you as a teammate?
Well, it was a different environment at that time because the team was still growing. So the focus is absolutely in moving the team forward, taking them from outside the top 10 to inside the top 10. The pressure is completely different when you're then sitting across in the engineering office, you're sitting across from the guy that you're trying to beat. You have to beat to be world champion.
Have you been surprised by the way he's been speaking recently?
No, not at all. Mark's always been a straight talker. He's always shot from the hip. And, I think we should admire the fact that what you see is what you get. You might not always like it, but at least you know where you stand.
Sure. Well, Mark's team have been pursued all season long by the team behind us, McLaren, and we were looking to get the three fastest teams, team bosses together, both from Ferrari, McLaren and Red Bull. However, we could only manage 2 out of the 3. But I don't think that's too bad, do you? Well, thank you both very much for being here. Who offended Stefano Domenicali then?
Well, Christian, I think, actually. I mean, he won the Constructors' Championship last week, so I think he must have offended him.
Maybe it was team orders. He decided not to make it down here. Being totally serious, though, about Ferrari, do you think that they feel slightly sort of victimised or vilified because of a couple of things that have happened this season, so they're quite a cautious team at the moment?
I don't see that caution. I think they're in good shape. You have to say Fernando is a formidable competitor, and I think he's going to be tough to beat for anyone. In fairness, what you have to say is they made a fantastic recovery midway through the year. I don't think any of us thought that Ferrari would be up here as strong as they are.
In the eyes of the fans, will we see a tainted championship if indeed it is Fernando's with less than a 7-point gap?
Ferrari did what they did in Hockenheim, and whether you think it right or wrong is irrelevant. They didn't have any points taken off them. They were penalised in a manner that the governing body thought sufficient, so that's it.
Okay, let's imagine we have got a crystal ball. Look into them and tell me, what would be the dream scenario in the race for you? What would you love to see happen? Go on.
Well, it's pretty easy for me, isn't
Fernando
it?
crash at turn 1 would be quite nice.
Yeah. Take out his 2 cars as well, and Lewis goes to an easy win. But no, I think that would be great. I mean, our task is a huge mountain to climb, but in one sense it's simpler. Lewis has to try and win the race, and
if he could be third, that'd be really help. If he can't win, he'd be third. It'd be nice.
Yeah, try and win.
Have a word with him.
But I think it's going to be intriguing how during qualifying how these guys perform. There's a tremendous pressure on them. I've certainly been involved in championships where they're won in the last couple of corners, and in fact only 2 years ago.
Does all this talk about last corners and leaving it till the end start to make you feel a little bit nervous?
If we were in that situation, that would be just an unbelievable situation, to be in. It would mean that we'd be 1-2. If Sebastian is ahead of Mark at that stage, he'd have to take a decision whether he was prepared to concede a Grand Prix victory. In my own mind, that he would do it, but obviously it's a big thing for him to potentially go up. No, I haven't asked him. I absolutely haven't asked him.
So have you discussed it? Have you spoken about it?
No, not at all. I mean, he knows the maths. He knows the maths. He knows that obviously it would be fantastic for the team to take two championships this year, but that would mean giving up a race victory. So
Martin's enjoying this,
He is.
But have you thought about telling them, just be careful, don't do what you did in Turkey? It's worth having that conversation, isn't it?
We've had that conversation ever since Turkey. We had that every Grand Prix. We had it before Turkey as well. But they're racers. They're racing for the biggest prize in motorsport, and they won't be spending Christmas together. I think that's we're quite safe to assume that. But they work together transparently. They're sharing information now. About the setup, about developing the setup of the car, and ultimately it'll be down to what they do in the car. They've got equal equipment, equal opportunity, and it's down to what they do on the track that counts.
Are you surprised these boys haven't put it to bed already?
Well, no, I think they've had a fantastically quick car all year. So I'm sure, but we can all look at that. We can look at we focus on things like Turkey, and there were lots of points. 2 laps later, our drivers actually made contact with one another at over 250 kilometres an hour, and they were lucky that it didn't go the same way. These drivers are making millisecond by millisecond decisions, and you can go back now and pick on probably 10 of those that decide the championship. If that hadn't have happened, we would have won the championship, or he would have won the championship, and that's fantastic.
Let's have one world champion prediction from the 2 of you. Martin?
Lewis Hamilton.
Christian?
A Red Bull driver.
I'm not sure that counts, but thank you both very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, no surprises with those predictions. And if you're wondering just how claustrophobic it can get down here in the pit lane, well, this is how close these teams are. You can see the Red Bull garage there. Right next door to them, you've got McLaren working away in their garage, and right next door to McLaren behind us, you've got the Ferrari team. So these teams are on top of each other all the time. Does that add to the pressure, David, when you sort of walk out here and you see your rivals just a few feet away throughout the season?
Well, it doesn't just end here at the track. These guys end up being at the airport together. They end up, you know, hanging out in the lounges together. So, you know, this is a travelling circus, and you have to face your competitors at more than just here in the pit lane and out in the racetrack.
And considering your vast experience of running a team in F1, Eddie, those two are rookies. They're novices compared to you, aren't they? How do you think they've handled the pressure this season between them?
Well, I think what has happened is they have been number twos, I suppose, to really great names, and what they've done is put their own stamp and their own imprimatur on their own team. Different styles and different people, just like presidents of countries change and prime ministers, etc. They're no different, and they're putting their own, and they're actually very successful at what they're doing, and I like what they're doing.
And how hard is this job for these guys? Because you've got Martin, who's clearly got the driver lineup he wanted, the two most recent world champions, and Christian Horner, who's clearly got the car that he wants, the best car in Formula One. The shareholders, the owners, the sponsors, they'd all expect titles when you've got that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but I think it's a little bit like being, you know, Alex Ferguson or one of the football team managers. You know, you don't actually kick the ball. These guys don't design the cars, they don't drive the cars, but obviously they need to put the right people in place. They need to make sure that they're empowered, they've got the finance behind them. So there's a lot of pressure with the job, but at no individual point are they the person that's actually, you know, foot on the throttle pedal or making the call when it comes to the strategy.
And interestingly, the team who are in the lead as far as the Drivers' Championship is concerned, Ferrari, has said that they're the team actually with no pressure because they haven't had the best car all season. They haven't got the drivers maybe that McLaren have got. They haven't got two world champions, yet they're in the box seat. Do you buy that Ferrari message that there's no pressure on us?
No, and that's verified by the fact that Luca Montezemolo's just arrived up and he's running up and down with all the competitors and shaking hands and trying to be Mr. Nice Guy. Inside him, there is a steely desire to win this championship. Make no mistake, he hasn't come all this way just for fun. He is here, like every other team boss of these protagonist teams here. They are desperate for success. It's everything that fuels the whole body, the mindset, everything that happens, they must win.
I'm not sure that really helps, does it, having the big boss turn up for the final weekend?
But he's been around with Ferrari since the 70s, so they're well used to his passion for motorsport. It was actually very funny this morning. He was walking into the various garages and shaking hands with the drivers during practice sessions. Michael Schumacher looked somewhat bemused as his former president was trying to shake his hand.
Amazing. Maybe he was trying to psych out Schumacher as well. Very interesting. But whoever wins the title this weekend, it's going to be a huge deal for them, whether it's Fernando Alonso, who picks up his third crown, or maybe Sebastian Vettel, who at just 23 years of age wins his first world title. For all of them, it's the culmination of an incredible journey, a journey that I got a tiny insight into when I trained to be a racing driver for 2 days, and thanks to my complete lack of talent, this is as far as it will ever go. So it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm here in Abu Dhabi to go racing in cars again. And obviously the last time I went racing it wasn't exactly what I'd hoped for, and this time the cars are going to be even quicker. And I wish I'd said no. So after a restless night it was time to face my nemesis once again. But before I could even think about a return to the track, there were a few formalities to get through.
People at home can't really understand just how tough physically and mentally Formula One is.
Therefore, my day would begin in the gym.
Come on.
For a series of physical and mental challenges.
I'm attaching you now.
Designed to see if I had anything resembling F1 fitness.
I've got all the motivation I need for this. And the motivation is Eddie Jordan's press-ups at Rubens Barrichello's house. And what a body he's got.
Jake, eat your heart out.
Well, athletic prowess not quite confirmed. It was time to go driving alongside my instructor for the weekend, the former British Grand Prix winner, Johnny Herbert. So, Johnny, first things first, did you see my Lotus race?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it didn't seem to last very long.
No, it lasted until the end of lap 1, after which I crashed twice and was last.
Oh good, that gives me a lot of confidence sitting in this position, Jake, thank you.
And so followed an intensive day behind the wheel.
Accelerate hard! Go, 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 go! Oh my God! I so nearly had a massive accident!
I'm off the track.
My heart! It came out!
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Oh, flip me. I was wondering where we were going then.
Cheers, man. Sorry for scaring you.
What, was it just too much speed? It was completely too much speed. Well, you saw we were completely off the track. We were very near that boat that's parked up at the side. My lord.
I scared him a bit. He's not used to the speed anymore. He'll be all right, though. He needs just a little lie down. He'll be okay. I'm so sorry. But it's getting late. As you can see, it's pitch black here in Abu Dhabi. Now, the guys here want us to feel the ultimate acceleration. And that doesn't come from a Formula One car. It comes from this. A perfect end to a really special day. The following morning, though, Johnny felt I'd made the grade to tackle the final step. Oh, I've suddenly come over all nervous. This is her, is it?
This is it. This is what we've been working towards. This is going to be the closest thing to a Formula One that you're going to drive, so you're going to be in for a bit of a treat.
Of course it was a treat, but a nerve-wracking one, especially when I saw who I'd be expected to keep pace with. Do you know what I'm most concerned about?
Yeah.
Following Jean Alesi.
No, you'll be fine. Just think about what we've done.
Oh my life. That is a powerful engine. So here I am on the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix circuit. The lights have just come on and I'm following Jean Alesi, watching everything he does completely, cutting the corners where he cuts them. And the plan is that slowly we build up the speed. At the moment it's nice and steady, but I get the sneaky feeling that Jean is starting to up the pace a little bit.
The big thing at the moment, Jake's been able to stay up with Jean, and he's following exactly to where Jean is going, so he's learning the lines.
Oh, you can really feel the wind when you come down here. These cars just want to go so fast. They want to fly. I'm just trying to think about everything that Johnny has taught me throughout the day. This is good because the speed is sort of slowly going up, so he can actually grow with it in a slower manner. John just came onto the start-finish straight, stuck his foot down, and that feels like nothing else. Wow, what an incredible display of power. He's getting a bit quicker now. Jean's up to pace a little bit more, so what he'll be doing, obviously now things will start to be happening that little bit quicker as they come past now. Jean has just disappeared in front of me. There's absolutely no way I can catch you. I'm now doing everything I can in terms of my limited skill to catch Jean. But this car, oh my gosh! Oh, hello! Oh yeah, that is awesome! And less than 15 minutes to go until this track is full of cars going considerably faster than that. Ferrari has said, Eddie, to do the business this weekend, they need to keep emotion out of the equation. I don't think I would suit their team at the moment then, would I, based on that?
Well, that's a corollary, isn't it? Ferrari without emotion. I mean, whatever is this world coming to, it just doesn't, they don't sit well together. You know, emotion, passion, everything that you actually think about, it starts in Ferrari and used to start and probably still does. It's a very passionate team and that passion is still there.
Talent is the main thing you're lacking, Jake. I don't think emotion's the problem.
I do know. I am fully aware. I can't get any quicker, though. I keep trying. Anyway, as you can see, we've decamped out to the paddock here. The pit lane is impressive, the paddock equally so. I think the man to our left there, Bernie Ecclestone, will be very happy with how things are going, and I think he's just checking that even some of his big sponsors in Formula One have got the right passes around their necks. And I think when this was announced as the final race for Formula One, people raise their eyebrows slightly because Brazil is so popular on the calendar, but they do a great job as Nico Rosberg gets ready to go for the qualifying. They do put on a good show here.
Can you believe this is only the second year of this Grand Prix? The energy and atmosphere around this facility with all of the hotels set up, it's just incredible, really. You know, I think it's really established itself very well.
I think on top of that, no one really... Let's go back to Bahrain. No one gave them a chance, and they did a remarkable job. And then when we were told we were coming to Abu Dhabi, we thought about it and we said, well, what'll that be like? And look, we were absolutely blown away last year. It was a remarkable story, and they've added to that again. And we're just joined by Richard, who's the boss here. So don't be too embarrassed. I'm talking nice things about you.
Eddie, and make sure you're okay. You know? Should he be in here?
He should be in here. He's being perfectly polite, as he should be, because you worked very hard last year to get ready for your first race, and now you get what you wanted, the title decider in Abu Dhabi. Tell us what it was like for all of the guys who work here, watching that race in Brazil, realising that we'd be coming here with the title still up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were down on a lot of people on the Corniche watching the race with a lot of the local community, and then we realised that we were going to get the decider, so it was just amazing, and everybody's delighted. It couldn't be a better year-end present for us and reward for all the hard work that has gone into this.
Is it that step easier now, year two, because you've got over the first hurdle of getting everything set up, or is it never ending?
No, I mean, I think it's obviously easier this year. I mean, we're able to concentrate on the detail. Last year we were trying to get a track together, we were trying to get a team and organise the Grand Prix, whereas this year now at least, we're into getting the detail right, and that's nice, a nice situation to be in. And we have a team of people who's actually been together and working on all the events for a whole year, so they're more confident, and I think it shows in the way it's been produced.
Richard, not all of our viewers may know that you are part of the serious management of the Toyota Formula One team. Please tell me, what's it like being on the other side of the fence now and being a promoter?
Well, I think it's been a huge help, Eddie, because I know the other side and I know what the teams want, I know what you guys want, and it's nice to be able to provide that so that when people come here, everything is laid on, everything is ready, and then the whole place is up and running. So especially now with the back-to-back with Brazil. So it just meant that the bump in was a lot easier. Little things, but just make everybody's life easier so they can concentrate on the championship.
Well, in the short term, the championship is what you're thinking about. But in the longer term, you want this to be a busy place. I know you've got a new driver development program going. Is this circuit helping to increase a passion for motorsport and Formula One in this part of the world, do you think? Can you feel that shifting slightly?
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you want to build any kind of continuity and consistency, you have to get drivers into various series. And I think that's no different for the UAE and Abu Dhabi. So we're trying to get drivers into the various series we're doing, and especially into F1. We know we have to work on that, and I think that it's working very well with the help of everybody.
Great. And finally, it's your circuit. You know it well. You know the drivers, so try and pick a winner for us this weekend if you can.
Well, I think it's difficult. I mean, everybody is on form. We could see from those three practice sessions, especially one today, P3. I mean, it's anybody's game. I think Alonso is very, very strong. He's showing Ferrari is always there when the pressure is on, so I think as a team they'll do well. But then you can't discount Webber and Vettel.
So what are you saying?
I think it's going to be Alonso's day tomorrow.
OK, we'll wait and find out. Thank you very much for joining us.
Right.
And obviously in a city where the average wealth of the citizens is around £11 million, this place was always going to be impressive. The question is, can it also deliver fantastic racing? Well, David and Martin have been to have a look round to find out.
So, David, we've got 4 drivers in 3 different cars still up for the championship. Where do you see them having strengths and weaknesses?
At the beginning of the lap, I see this as Ferrari territory because there's an element of traction required, there's some medium speed corners and some reasonable straights. With the middle sector, it's McLaren's hunting ground. They have very good slippy car, good F-duct and strong performance, and this is one of the longest straights that we have in Formula One. Red Bull has the performance in the low speed sectors, so at the end of the lap, that's exactly where they're going to be dominant, and that's where they have to be dominant if they're going to deliver the lap time.
Right, let's go and take a look at the track. Turn 1 approached at 180 miles an hour, braking down to just 80. Looks easy enough.
Well, it does indeed, and in many ways this takes a huge amount of pressure off, both in qualifying and the race, because you don't have that big concertina that you would see at somewhere like Saint-Devote or Istanbul or any of these places where you typically see cars crashing into each other. So whoever is on pole will have a big pressure off them when they run down into turn 1.
But isn't it too perfect, too easy? It's got a beautiful camber, there's not a bump in sight.
Yeah, I agree with you. This could well be one of the easiest turn 1s that we have on the Grand Prix calendar, and in many ways that could be disappointing for all the fans who want to see action at the first turn. But this is what we have, and the rest of the track throws open other challenges.
Right, let's find something more difficult. Look at this beautiful racetrack, cascading down the hill, turns 4, 5 and 6, and then this.
Yeah, right into corner 7, taking it 50 miles an hour, classic hairpin that leads on to long straight all the way down to turn 8. Definitely a place for overtaking. Turn 8, the first big challenge in this racetrack. You're stopping from 200 miles an hour down to 50 at this apex, short rise up to turn 9.
It's so easy to lose time in qualifying in slow corners like this. You need maximum apex speed because there's a very long straight to follow. In the race, if you've just overtaken somebody, it's easy for them to switch back and counter-attack. We're down at turn 18, one of the 12 left-handers on this anti-clockwise circuit, just 70 miles an hour on the apex, coming around the marina, looking pretty technical.
Well, indeed, this is where Abu Dhabi meets Monaco. Lewis Hamilton was mighty in this section last year, but I think the point-and-squat nature is Red Bull's hunting ground.
Well, underneath this magnificent hotel, there are 3 corners remaining until you clock up your qualifying time.
We're getting very close now. Palpable paddock excitement down here. Eddie, they refer to this place as the Arabian Monaco, and to be fair, overtaking is about as difficult as it is in the Principality, meaning today's qualifying session is super important, not just as far as the title race is concerned.
Well, I think qualifying is super important everywhere. You can't discount it, no matter what track, but particularly places like here, Hungary. Of course, you mentioned Monaco, and it's super important, particularly for the protagonists. They will want clean air and they will want to be out in front.
And David, we can see the sun here beating down on the circuit. We were speaking to one of the team bosses just before we came on air, and he said, remarkably, in the desert, they're struggling to get the tyres hot enough to perform well.
Yeah, you have this bizarre situation here where some of the practice sessions actually take place in the heat of the day, but obviously by the time we start to qualify, that sun will be setting, the track temperature will be dropping very quickly, actually. By the time Martin and I did the track guide, the track surface was cool to the touch, and that has a big effect on the way the tyre temperatures are.
Right, so the temperature is going to start to get cool just as it hots up on the circuit. They've got the right idea. Look at that. Get yourself a pedalo, go out there onto the water. Always amazing to see the water just like that in the middle of the desert. And Eddie, it could be very close. We've seen McLaren fast, Red Bull fast, Fernando just a little bit behind, actually.
Yeah, but, you know, sandbagging is not the right word, but he is prone to do this. But, you know, when it actually comes to the crunch, when that watch is running, he's there all the time.
OK, this is it then. For the final time this season, it's time for live qualifying with us on the BBC. 20 drivers are just playing a supporting role. It's all eyes on 4 men, and we're all ears for Martin Brundle and Jonathan Ledgard.